in terms of messaging, I do think that a lot of people kind of get intimidated by it because it sounds so big and they think they have to nail it right away and that it, once you nailed it, that's perfect. It stays like that forever.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like messaging is more like, well, you get something and then you evolve as the year goes by. I mean, you change, the messaging change, your offer change, your business change, everything changes over time, and you really don't ever nail it right off the bat.
No, I mean, all of this stuff is a work in progress, and
Yeah.
it requires something that people don't understand. There's something that is an absolutely prerequisite ingredient for your success, and that's feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're waiting for it to be perfect before you put it out there, then you didn't get any feedback, so it can't be perfect. You have to be able to say, let's test this, let's try this, let's put that out here. Excuse me. And it is going to be messy, but it is a work in progress. And that's a beautiful thing. That's all I do is we've been selling the same thing for 5 years, but the messaging keeps evolving, improving, enhancing, and getting better and better and better. And as a result of that, our launches keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They really do. Every single launch has been bigger and bigger. And a big piece of that has to do with the things I've covered. Like when it gets results, that reputation sticks and people talk about that. When you focus more on improving the offer, every year I do something to improve the offer. Every year I do something to improve the messaging. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And we had that exponential, like explosive growth because I was just willing to commit and recommit to improving that. Whereas what a lot of people are doing is they're always trying to start over.
Mm-hmm.
They're always going back to
scratch it all and just going back to drawing board.
Yeah. Or they're going, okay. That offer didn't work. Let's go in a completely different direction and do a different niche. Or I did a challenge, but the challenge didn't work. I'm going to do a webinar and the webinar didn't work. So I'm going to do a video series. And it's like, it's never those things. It's never the challenge. It's never the video series. It's never that. It's the message and the offer. And I can take the same message and the same offer and I can do it in a webinar. I can do it in a video series. I can do it in a live launch. I can do it in a challenge. I can do it in emails. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
But that people put all their weight in the wrong things. They're looking for all the answers in all the wrong places. And that's what keeps people stuck and starting over. Whereas I just said, I'm going to put it out there. And I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to work on the messaging. I'll work on the offering. I'll put it out again. Put it out again. Our first beta launch was $18,000. Then it was $250,000. And then it was $500,000. Then we did $1 million. Then we did $2 million. Then we have $4 million. That was the big jump. Going to $4 million and then $6 million. And it's just like, right? But it's just building upon what I have and making it better and better every year. And that's the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that you say that it's not about which tactic you use. I mean, everybody will tell you that, you need to do a webinar, you need to do a challenge, you need to do this, that. But we all know that all of that works. It's been proven by a lot of people.
Yep.
So it's not about that at all. It's like you said, it's about the messaging and the offer. It's really that simple.
Completely.
But we overthink it.
Yeah, we overthink it. And it goes back to the iceberg analogy. It's when you're watching from the outside and you're seeing what someone else is doing and you start to go, oh, I see what they're doing. I'll go do that. I can do that. Yeah, but you're not seeing anything beneath the surface of the iceberg. And so you're only modeling or copying what you can see. And it really is the invisible mechanisms that you can't see that's causing a lot of that success. There's a lot of strategery to my messaging, what I say, when I say it, how I say it. That offers clarity, that dismantles objections. Like a lot of it is people don't know how to dismantle an objection, right? And everyone's going to have objections. What is an objection? An objection is a thought or belief rooted in fear that prevents your ideal customers from buying from you. And if you don't know how to address those, if you don't know how to shift those, then people that are meant to be in your stuff aren't going to buy from you. And your messaging helps to do that. And that's not what people are doing. Most people are saying, well, if I just give as much as I can, then people will buy from me. And here's what that's like. I like to use metaphors as much as possible.
You love the metaphors.
I love the metaphors, right? So if you go to the mall, back when people went to the mall, there was the food courts. And you're like, oh, I'm hungry. Let's go get some food. And you go to the food court, and there'd be that person there outside a Panda Express with the tray of samples. And they'd say, do you want a sample? And you'd take a little thing on a toothpick and you'd eat it and you go, wow, that's actually really good. Let's eat here. Boom, you got a sample. And then you said, let's go buy. But these people that are like, give, that's like saying, hey, do you want this free meal? And you're like, yeah, okay. And you eat it and you're like, wow, that was amazing. And you're stuffed. Like, you're like, I can't eat another bite. And they're like, do you want to go buy from us over at our restaurant? And you're like, what? I'm stuffed. I'm full. No, thank you. Like, please, I don't want to look at any more Kung Pao chicken for the rest of the week. I had too much and it was free. Thank you. I'm good. And that's what most people are doing. There's no strategery to their messaging and to their content. And so they're just inundating and overwhelming and flooding people's brains with all this stuff that leaves them like, oh, my head is spinning. I'm doing way more than I've consumed way more than I know what to do with. And now I have more than I have to do that I don't have the time to do. And now someone's saying, oh, hey, now I'm going to sell you more stuff that you need to do. And people are like, what? No, thank you. I'm good for a while. I'm good. Thank you. That was, and people will even say things like, wow, that was the best webinar. That was the best video series, best challenge I've ever attended. Bye. Right. Mm-hmm. So, how do you create a great experience that people say that was great and I want to buy your stuff?
Yeah. I want more. Yeah.
I want more. Absolutely. And so we have to be way more strategic with our messaging and what we're sharing, what we're teaching.
Mm-hmm. The way you talked about launches, it almost sounds like you kind of treat it like an experiment, a test. Everything that you do, take one part and you kind of tweak it, and then let's say, okay, let's test this. Let's see what results are from this, and if it worked, great. If it doesn't work, scrap it. Let's go back and do something else.
Yeah, you have to be the scientist in your business. You have to be results driven, not emotionally driven. And look, emotions are important. You should pay attention to your emotions. But a lot of people are letting their thoughts and beliefs dictate their launches. I don't feel like that did work very well. Well, I don't care if you don't feel like it did well. What are the numbers telling us? The numbers don't lie. So your numbers will tell you if it worked or it didn't. And we're always numbers and data driven. Did it work? What did the numbers say? What was the conversion rate? How many leads? How many sales? How many views? How many clicks? And the numbers are there. The data is there. And it's going to tell you, did this work or not? So, we have just to give a specific example for our listeners is we have a new opt-in page that we're doing this year. But we're not getting rid of the old one. And so I said, hey, I have an idea for a new opt-in page. Okay, let's run it. And there's ways to tell very quickly, is it working? Is it good? And the first is conversion rate. What's the conversion rate on the page? How many leads are coming in from this? How much is it costing Facebook ads to run this? Wow, the conversion rate's higher. There's more leads and it's cheaper cost per lead. This is working. But if I just sat there and put it up there and was like, I don't know, I don't feel like it's good enough. What? So many times people come to me. In fact, I just had this happen on a coaching call. I'm trying to remember which coaching call it was. Yeah. So I was doing this coaching call and I had this woman who's in the middle of her launch right now. Or when I did the call, actually. Yeah, I think it's ended by now. And she's like, I was like, hey, how can I help you? And she's like, I need you to help me save my launch. And she was just like distraught. Like there was fear and sadness and just anxiety in her voice. I could just hear it. And so, help me save this launch. And of course, I do the exact thing. I practice what I preach is I said, give me the numbers. And I got all of her numbers. And what I showed her with the numbers, because the numbers don't lie, is her launch is actually crushing it. It's unbelievable. And it was really interesting. And she like cried. She was just like so much relief. So here's what happened. So we measure performance with the EPL, earnings per lead, right? Her EPL. So basically, here's what she said. She goes, last launch, I made about, I think she said I made 20 sales, 25 sales. And this is like a high ticket program. This is like $6,000. She's crushing it. 3,000, something like that. And she goes, last launch, I made 20 something sales. This launch, I'm only at 16. And I wanted to do more. I wanted to do like 30, 40 sales. So her goal was to do more, and she's doing a little less than last time.
Right.
And I look at the numbers. She gives me all the numbers, and her EPL is way higher this launch than it was last launch. So she's outperforming in this launch. It's already doing better. The problem is she just had less people join. And that's all it was. You just, I mean, look, if you're going to do a webinar and you say, you know, I want to do 10 sales and 5 people show up to the webinar, are you going to get 10 sales? I don't think everyone is going to buy twice. I just don't think that's going to happen. I'm a very optimistic dude. I just don't think that's going to happen. So what she didn't do is when her numbers were not at par, she didn't recalibrate her launch goals. But her launch still was doing better from a performance standpoint than it was before. And her EPL, dude, was like $460. Wow, I said, yeah. I told her this. I said, first of all, F you for how amazing your numbers are. Screw you, because my numbers are nowhere near there. And my numbers are good. I said, you're in the top 2% of highest EPL I've ever worked with anybody. And you're sitting here freaking out about your launch. But you're in one of the highest EPLs of any client, any student I've ever worked with. And that's the way we are on ourselves. You know what I mean? It's never good enough, and there's always a problem. And it's like, you're crushing it. You're doing amazing. It's working. The launch as a machine, like I said, look at it like a machine, is working unbelievably well. It's like the best machine I've ever seen. We just need to get more people in it next time. That's it. It's already performing unbelievably well. Let's just get more people in. You didn't get more people in. Yeah, because my Facebook ads did this and da-da-da-da. It's like, okay, so there you go. We got to fix that for next time. All right, let's move on. You know, it's like, there ain't no problem here. There's nothing to fix. Let's, you know, but she was so distraught. And it's because she wasn't looking at her numbers. The digital CEO, the successful entrepreneur, they are driven by their numbers. They know their numbers. They know how to read and interpret numbers, and their numbers dictate and guide their decisions and actions. That's what I do. I mean, I still have intuition. I still have emotions, not a robot, but numbers give you facts. And I want to be informed by the facts. And if you want to scale your launches, improve your launches, make launches less stressful, you have to learn the language of your numbers. What does this mean? What can we expect? What needs to change? What do I need to do differently based on these numbers? And that gives you so much more power when you're doing that.